Hey everyone, it's Claire. I'm here in Galway, Ireland with local musician Padraig Jack. He's going to take us around town and give us a taste of the local music scene.
I'm working on my foreign voice.
We're here at the Secret Garden Cafe, one of the coolest nicest places in Galway, to grab a cup of tea or coffee. So we'd like to go in for a chat.
By the dark of a red light, by the grace of a frozen moon.
I love this place. I come here a lot. It's just a really comfortable, nice environment to come in and work, think, or just relax. Like good coffee and teas and stuff, and I used to play gigs here a good bit as well. They still do have gigs. I did a few of my first kind of gigs in Galway in here.
Would you say that this is a particularly good venue for people just starting out, since it's kind of smaller?
Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah, like I've actually recommended it to a few people who might have asked about places to play. You know, people who might know from outside of Galway. You usually have a kind of an audience in here. People are in here having like people don't mind. They like I was always conscious of being annoying people by when we were playing. They're in having coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think they kind of expect it, the kind of place it is.
I've kind of noticed that, certainly at pubs, but in Galway it seems like everywhere you go there's music, and people seem to really like it, which is nice. Because I know there are sometimes you're in a bar or a coffee shop and you're like, I don't want to hear music right now.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I'd be like that myself a lot sometimes. But yeah, I think people expect it, in Galway. There's so much trad music, but also a lot, particularly at this side of town, there's a lot of kind of more original music venues where you find artists and whatever, you know.
It is interesting. It seems like the city's kind of split, the trad part of town and the more original music kind of town.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, the trad, I suppose, is more catering to the tourists. Yeah. It's more like a kind of a Temple Bar type vibe, like in Dublin. But yeah, you also have the kind of the more bohemian scene as well, you know, I guess.
So this is the Galway's West End.
I think they started marketing it a few years ago as just kind of its own little. They have like the Latin Quarter and the Galway's West End. It's just like a region of the city. Yeah. I mean, it's not a huge city, but I guess it's just a way to compartmentalize it a bit or something.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's the Latin Quarter is the more trad music area, and the West End is more original.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. A bit of crossover, but generally, that would be it.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about your own music and your path? You said you started playing venues more like this place, and then...
Yeah, so I suppose I was attending open mics and stuff over a few years, right? I was in college for a while, and I was kind of writing songs and playing in pubs, like cover gigs, cover songs and whatever.
Did you go to college in Galway?
Yeah, got in UIG, yeah.
Nice.
So I was there and I was writing songs, and then I started doing small shows, like places like here, with friends of mine from, we had a little group, myself and Pa Reedy and Keith John and Parkland. We're all kind of active singer-songwriters at the moment. Another friend of ours, Gary McInerney, who's probably the best songwriter of the lot of us, but he doesn't promote himself, or he doesn't, he wouldn't want it known. We used to put on shows together in here and in the Roisin Dove maybe, and a few different places, and so we'd been doing that. Traveller, we used to go to Berlin and stuff. That's where we became really good friends, playing gigs and stuff. I started releasing music about 2 or 3 years ago. Oh, nice. So I've released like 3 or 4 singles. Culmination of a few years, maybe things starting to happen a little bit for me. But yeah, this was, I suppose, where I'd have been trying out songs and stuff, and there's a history of scenes developing and things like that. You know, London, New York, whatever, all these different places. Like in Ireland, there would have been one maybe 10, 15 years ago now, where like Damien Rice, Damien Dempsey, Declan Moore, a few different singers. There was really singer-songwriting scene in Ireland. It was about 10 or 15 years ago. I think some of those guys lived in Galway for a while as well. Really? I think that kind of thing can self-organise, and it's a cool thing. So I think we're all kind of dreaming that we could be unbeknownst to ourselves in starting something like that as well.
So you grew up on one of the Aran Islands, which is still County Galway, not too far away from Galway. How did that influence your music and play a role in your musical journey?
I do get, like, people do ask that a lot. I suppose it's like I didn't play that much music when I was younger, even though I'm from a musical family. Like my dad he would have toured as a singer-songwriter and stuff for himself, and and he actually wrote songs in English and in Irish as well, which
Really?
is what I do, is like contemporary music.
Yeah.
Barry Ronan is his stage name. He never, or my parents, they never like, they never made us play music, any instrument we wanted.
Not stage parents or anything.
No, not at all. Definitely not. For that reason, most of my teenage years was been playing PlayStation and stuff,
Yeah.
So I was kind of late starter with music. The influence of the islands, I suppose, would come in later when I'd be writing songs, because I find I write a little bit more about that now than I used to. The scenery on the island and maybe some of the history of it would maybe come into my music a bit.
Yeah.
But it's only, I think initially that wasn't happening much.
Yeah.
But it happens more. And of course the Irish language, I suppose, because I write in Irish, which I did do from early on. So I suppose that there is a big influence.
I didn't know until I came to Ireland when I was 20, 21, that the language is even called Irish, because I think most people in the States think it's called Gaelic.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, most people in Ireland speak English, but there are certain regions where Irish is really prevalent.
Yeah. So the regions are called Gaeltachtaí, which lends more to the Gaelic word actually. And actually on that, I've started referring to it more as Gaelic, because I know that people from the States would say Gaelic, and I'd say Gaelic to them. Roughly the west coast of Ireland, like the Wild Atlantic Way, is generally roughly where the Gaeltachtaí, the Irish-speaking regions, are. In the last census, I think 8% of Irish people identified as being fluent Irish speakers.
It's actually it's not a lot, but
yeah,
it's kind of more than I would have expected for some reason.
Generally the languages would have been fluctuating, and the trend is generally going downwards, that there are less people, but it seems to be kind of cool again to speak Irish, whereas when I was a kid it wasn't really at all. I think now I really love it. Like I like translating certain songs, English existing songs, and writing my own.
Do audiences react differently to songs in Irish?
I suppose they do, but even further away, like I mentioned, I was touring in England recently, and I always try and do one Irish song in every set. I did this one song in Irish every night. I'd tell them what it's about, the story, the song and stuff. It's funny, after it was like one of the most popular songs people were talking about.
That's so cool.
Like who said it to me after, they were like, I had no idea what you were saying, but I loved it.
If you look at songs that are charting, at least in the States, but I think worldwide, I mean, there are so many more songs in other languages. That songs in Spanish are all over the charts, which is so cool.
Yeah, and you have K-pop, Korean pop music is popular.
It's huge. I guess that's why I asked, if people respond differently to songs in Irish versus songs in English. It is a different way of connecting with the music. I mean, sometimes I'll hear a song and I almost only listen to the lyrics, and that's not even a bad thing. I don't think it's.
No.
Sometimes the words are so captivating that it really draws you in. But especially with sort of venues like this or pubs where you have music going on, but it's not necessarily your main focus of the night. Yeah. It is kind of cool to, get people's attention, even if they're just sort of half listening. Yeah. And, it's usually going to be the music that does that, not the words. Yeah, of course, yeah. Especially if they're not focused on it. And yeah. Yeah, like there's one cover gig I do the odd time, and it's I used to like it at one point because you're definitely background music. You're just not, no one's really listening. But I actually really like it because there's often maybe a couple of people might, be looking over and might, give me a nod after a certain song or whatever, and I just love that, and I can sing whatever I want. Yeah. I don't have to do certain songs. That's true. To get them, to get them dancing or anything.
I never knew I could be this young. This chaos tastes a little different.
We're here in the Roisin Dubh pub in Galway. So I suppose this is it's like one of the main kind of music clubs in Galway. It's like where a lot of the touring acts would play, as I mentioned. So it's kind of like the well-known Whelan's in Dublin. There were the two kind of venues where you want to play. Like Whelan's Dublin and the Roisin Dubh. Kind of like the dream show. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, so I've played here a few times. There was a good open mic here as well. It's still going. I haven't been able to make it much recently, but. It's got an open mic upstairs here, and I've played a couple of shows upstairs as well. I've never done my own show on the main stage here now, but I've played at supports here and stuff. But that would definitely be one of the dreams to play downstairs here and your own show, Yeah, so there's the main room here. There's the upstairs. It's a smaller room, but they also have a nice kind of bar at the front there as well and stuff, so it's cool. So if someone was coming to Galway for the first time and they said, I want to see music, where would be maybe your top 2 or 3 places you'd recommend? So yeah, there's a few places. There's the trad, kind of scene. But I suppose, for me, I mean, the Roisin would be, I suppose, here would be the main place. There's another actual venue up the road, the Black Gate as well. They do a lot of nice gigs there as well. I've been to one or two there as well, and here, and the Crane Bar, which I love. Which I'm playing a gig there soon now myself. I love, they have a lovely room as well. I suppose they'd be kind of three of the main places. I guess.
Can you talk a little bit about the community within the music scene here in Galway?
It's great. It's great. It's the first thing I'd say about it. I think, like for me, I've made a lot of some of my best friends through that scene, and through playing gigs and going to gigs in places like here in the Roisin and stuff, and as well people passing through, a lot of musicians like yourself, even coming, being in Galway now, and it's not even musicians, like it's like musicians, artists, different, the bohemian types. We're going to a lot of the same places, and it's kind of, if there's any gig on, if one of us is playing, a lot of us will be going to support each other and stuff.
That's great.
There's always that, like any community like that, I guess. So it's great. It was a very important part of my life, I think. Particularly at a time when I was writing songs, and when I was really getting into music that way, I kind of made a lot of friends, close friends through the music scene in Galway.
In terms of genre, do you find that a lot of the musicians here make sort of similar sounding music, or is it more varied?
That's a very good question, actually. I suppose there's the kind of I'm thinking of a few friends, and if someone asks what kind of music, and we all say, sure, singer-songwriter. You know what I mean? So I suppose, describe it as singer-songwriter, but singer-songwriter could be anything. I mean, that could be any type of music. It's not a genre. I mean,
it's funny because it's the same thing with pop music. Pop just means popular.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be anything.
It could be anything. It's just whatever people like at the moment. Me and my friends, it would be more like, acoustic folk music. There's also an electronic music scene as well. I think here, and there's the kind of the band scene. It's not that I just don't fully understand the band scene or something. It's like
it is kind of different.
I barely understand my own music or something, let alone anyone else's. I think that's kind of what I was getting at. So that's why we slow to maybe describe different types of music. It's a kind of a diverse music scene in Galway, but definitely, I mean, folk music, folk and acoustic is kind of.
I mean, it's so
one of them,
in the roots here, I think.
Like what I've started saying about my music, when I'm in England, everyone, I've been told the guys I work with, it's folk music. And that's cool, What I started saying to people last year was, my music, it's a mix of, sounds something like a mix of Sinead O'Connor and R.E.M. Because someone said that to me before.
And it's interesting how you're saying, you say singer-songwriter, or you say folk, or what. Whatever it is to describe. Exactly. I mean, I've noticed that I've had to change the way that I describe my own music depending on where I am. Because
how would you describe it?
So here I say folk rock.
Okay.
Sometimes I say folk pop. In the States I say Americana, but nobody says that here.
Oh yeah.
I always say it's like what a New York City girl making folk music sounds like. So it's the mix of that. New York City is a huge part of my music. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I'm doing with this series is I really think place does play a big role in the music you make. It
must be interesting to actually look at it from that perspective and go around to different cities. But literally with that question in mind.
Have there been any changes that you've noticed in either in Galway in general or in the music scene here over your time living here?
I suppose like in Ireland, and it's probably the same in lots of places, like accommodation, property prices have gone up and rents have gone up. So I know that maybe affects, artists and, art people in the arts maybe a little bit more because the money and the pay isn't as good. Even London and comparing London and Berlin, two places where I do play a bit of music now. I know a lot of people moved out of London because it got too expensive to Berlin, which is relatively cheap for like capital city of.
But it's changing. I mean, I was back in Berlin in August, and I was living there just about 2 years ago, and it's already more expensive than just 2 years ago.
I can imagine.
Has it affected the music scene at all? Do you think? I mean, in terms of what venues are open and.
Not that I know of. If I'm honest, in Galway, maybe it has to an extent, but I mean, I don't know. But I just know, I do know a lot of some artists that had to move out of the city. Maybe that didn't So they mightn't be, showing up every night, weeknights at gigs.
Yeah.
But that's also part of just people getting jobs and getting older as well.
Real life.
Yeah. So that's, I can't blame that on that. But so yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if places closing down necessarily. Maybe they have, but none come to mind. Like music venues.
Yeah, well, that's great. I mean, obviously music is such an important part of Galway, and I think it is one of the first things people think of when they think of Galway. So it's good to hear that it is not changing anytime soon, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, it's still kind of thriving, and yeah. And I suppose, Galway is very dependent. The economy is built dependent on tourism,
Yeah.
And we mentioned the trad music is a big, part to that as well. So I suppose in a sense that's keeping it going as well.
Yeah.
The music, a lot of musicians, like the artists, are playing music in pubs. Like myself, I'm playing to tourists, in pubs.
Yeah.
In Joe Watty's out in the Aran Islands, regularly as well. So I guess it's kind of nice to be doing as my day job, be playing music.
Yeah.
So
that's the dream.
Yeah. So
when it is more of a visiting audience as opposed to a local audience, is that something that you can tell from stage or not necessarily?
You probably can. Yeah. Well, particularly in Aran, because you kind of you know who's on the boat. Well, you don't know who's on the boat, but you if you came in on the boat yourself, you see. Yeah, it's a subset of the tourists who come to Galway usually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose depending on their song requests, certain songs might be more popular, but it's all good. But yeah, I guess tourists typically will want to hear local music, trad music or whatever. So, but it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good,
Well,
I guess,
I have a friend in Dublin who plays at bars in Temple Bar, and he was telling me about how you don't get paid to play originals. They only pay you if you play covers.
Yeah, no, that's the way it is.
Because it's the scene.
It's market driven or whatever,
Which is fair. I mean, I'm sure there's some of that anywhere you go. You got to know your audience, and if your audience doesn't want to hear your originals, then find a new audience or play covers.
Yeah, it's exactly, and that's what makes it so hard to make it. But I guess that's just the way it is. But I guess at least we live in a country where we can play covers and get paid for that.
Yeah.
So I live in the west of Ireland. There are plenty of places to play in pubs and get paid for that. So
that's true.
I guess that's at least that.
You can play the covers to fund you then playing the originals.
Exactly. Yeah, and also you're learning the skills of being on stage and stage management and song structure, songcraft. If you're playing songs by the Beatles and U2 and whatever the big hits are, you're kind of you're playing the best songs, so you're seeing how they're structured, and
absolutely
you can understand what works. And
it's an education in that
way. It is big time. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much for showing us around Galway.
You're welcome.
This has been so much fun. Please make sure you go follow Padraig. I'll put all of his links in the description below. And don't forget to subscribe, because we've got some new videos coming very soon. Thanks, guys. Oh, you can totally hear the toilet flushing.
Pigeons walking on the roof there, or some type of bird. Okay, cool.
That is so funny. Oh, that
Love
is
it.
Hilarious that they're that loud.
More of the music I was listening to.
We have a friend.
Yeah, Cash is up. He's about to go for
oh my gosh,
camera,
save the camera. It's fine. I want to word that differently. Yes, how would you word it?
You know when someone tells you, at some point, that reminds me of something.
I got the weirdest one.
Yeah.
When I was in Stockholm. I'm super flattered. I don't think it's accurate, but I'm incredibly flattered. They said Shakira and the Cranberries.
Shakira and the Cranberries. That's a good one.
I was so flattered. Yeah. Again, I don't know how accurate that is, but I was like, might tattoo it on my face. But,
Jeez, definitely run with that.
Yeah, it was a great, cool set. Updating my artist bio.
Yeah.